President Kufuor are the ones who are enjoying. They have their fingers in every pie in our country. And I'm telling you. And they want to maintain it this way. Sometimes you ask yourself, did they come into power to rob the nation? Do they ever think about the people who voted for them into power? No. Obviously they don't. We have a very onerous responsibility. We need to give Ghanaians hope. We need to let the electorate know that you cannot be a leader unless you have people following you. And that the resources of our dear nation should be used solely for the benefit of the ordinary people. Leadership is about one thing, and in our case, improving the lot of Ghanaians. That is all. That should be the only preoccupation. Nothing else. But what do we see? Buying hotels, getting engaged in cocaine. When we started talking about the drug issue, they said we were crying wolf. Now you have a member of parliament languishing in jail here. He brought into this country $6 million worth of heroin. Of course, his intentions must have been very clear. If he had succeeded by now, he would be, is it the 22nd or 23rd presidential candidate for NDC? We had by-elections in his constituency in Kranza, and we had heard stories of how he pumped money into that area. Now, there is only one thing we worship in Ghana, that is money. It doesn't matter how you acquire it. Now, if you read some of the newspaper stories which come out by mistake, their presidential candidates are just going around buying delegates. Money is not a problem. Money is not an obstacle. And yet, these were people who 7-8 years ago were almost indigent. Where have they got the money from? They are flaunting their wealth. And Ghanaians have begun to ask questions. They want an alternative. And we should provide that alternative. But we should be guided by the experience that is being established now. You cannot go into leadership position and do the same thing. We have struggled when we came out of power in 2001. But by the grace of God, all of us have been able to get settled. You are not now going into government to try and make hay while the sun shines. Put something aside for a rainy day. The rainy days have gone. Yes. This will therefore be a period of sacrifice. Now, I heard my good friend Osafo Manfo praising himself to the higher heavens, saying that he's the only person who can beat Atanas because he's the manager, he's done this or that to the economy. My brothers and sisters, cast your minds back. When the PNDC came into power, our economy was recording what? Negative growth. All the structures had collapsed. More than 3 million Ghanaians left Ghana. Toilet roll was a luxury at the time. If you wanted to buy clothes and you went to the market, the only indication was that they would give you broomsticks. And the broomsticks would be a pointer to what they were going to give you. PNDC did its best. NDC for 8 years decided to repair the damage. We had financial sector reform. We decided to introduce democracy in the first place. We decided also concentrate on infrastructure, education, on Medicare. We have 3 state-of-the-art hospitals in Ghana. They compare favorably with hospitals anywhere, in Cape Coast, Ho, and Sunyani. Education, we have 3 universities. We increased the number to 5. We decided that there should be a polytechnic in every district. Now, when Osafo Manfo comes and boasts, I ask him, at the time when he was chairman of NID, managing director of NID, how much by way of taxes were we collecting? we decided to revamp the revenue collecting structure. How can a minister of finance operate if you are not able to collect revenue? I was for 8.5 years the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. It was my period of national service. We did that to strengthen the foundation for them. At the time that they now, this is one government which has enjoyed more resources than any other government. And they have not been able to account for the resources. And you know the reason why they forgave us our debt? It was because they said that Ghana had become a model of democracy, good governance, etc., etc., and that Ghana must be encouraged. What prompted this decision? The fact that we handed over peacefully to them. Yes, the first time. And they thought that Ghana has now settled. So let's give them all the help that they want. This is the reason. And mind you, they also forget that because they wanted us out, in 2000 they wanted us out because they thought that that was a good opportunity for them to change governments, and that would be a positive signal to the rest of Africa. Cocoa price went from 1,800 a ton to 700. Gold went down. We had problems with Ashanti gold fields at the time, while oil prices went up. When you have a monocrop economy like ours, you depend on cocoa. Your budget takes the price of cocoa into consideration, and your revenues from cocoa are cut by 2/3. What can you do? And yet, when the NPP government came to power, cocoa was around $2,000 a ton, and they have enjoyed an average of 1,800 for the past 6 or 7 years. Gold is gone through the roof. Yes. If you add the fact that they have been forgiving their debts, so the money that we would have spent repaying our debts have been made available to them, only because we decided that we love Ghana more than they, and that we would hand over peacefully to them. And now they can beat their chest and say that they are what? Better managers. What have they managed? What have they managed? And they like reading out the statistics. They like reading out the statistics. Inflation has come down, interest rates have gone down, etc., etc. You know, I'm not an economist, but I would have thought that economic development simply means the improvement in the welfare of the ordinary people. Statistics don't put food on the table. Statistics don't pay people's fees. Statistics do not guarantee the welfare of the people. If the statistics don't translate into people's welfare, then you have a problem on your hands. This is the same thing. This is a problem that we are having in the country. They will talk about GDP. Our nation has become a nation of sellers and buyers. Manufacturing sector has collapsed. We shouldn't take advantage of AGOA because the textile industry, which is key in Ghana, has collapsed. When we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, all these flags were imported from China. Yes, they were imported from China. And of course, you can guess who imported them. When we had the energy crisis, we still do. Of course, some people instantly became generator experts. If you are not getting investments in Ghana, it is because they have complained. First, it takes a very long time to get the government to take a decision. It isn't that they cannot take the decision, but each one of them is trying to outdo the other in order to get a stake in the investment. You ask some of your foreign friends, ask them. There was this thing about Abeyime. I know some of them are complaining very bitterly. Talk to those of them who have had the courage to come to Ghana. This is what is happening in Ghana. We have to change this. Truth has taken refuge somewhere. We don't know where it is. But I can assure you, at the appropriate time, it will come out. It is convenient for them politically that they think that it's a positive thing. So a vote for Atamils is a vote for Jerry Rawlings. My brothers and sisters, nobody can rewrite history. I will never, or nobody can obliterate the fact that I was Jerry Rawlings' vice president. You cannot also run away from the fact that for about 19 years he served as the chief executive of Ghana, chairman, and then subsequently president. But President Rawlings has served his term. It is for history to judge him. And I know that history will judge him. But the time has now come for Atamils and NDC to move in another direction. You know, the exigencies of the situation demand a new system, a new program. You need to move forward. With Atamils as chief executive, the buck will stop with Atamils.
Hallelujah.